press conference is a little different. Of such nature, we have in our midst the Honorable Minister of Commerce, Mr. Amidst. Mr. is here to speak for Liberia and the media on pertinent issues from the angle of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. But before we invite to the podium Mr. Moda, we'd like to say on behalf of the government of Liberia, the situation that occurred in Jacobtown on Saturday is very troubling. Here we are as a country trying to navigate our way through the chaotic system, get our country back on path to attract the attention of our international partners, get more investment trooping into Liberia so that we can be able to provide jobs for our people and improve their livelihood. Why the government is making these efforts, we see pockets of disturbances, threats of violence, and in some instances of late, we see violent protests. The country is a country of law, and every Liberian must be law-abiding. This tendency of people trying to take matters into their own hands in the name of having a right is wrong. Somebody feel aggrieved that the property is being encroached upon, they don't hire toughs. They don't hire gangsters to go and retaliate. They go to the court and painstakingly go through the legal process that is so time consuming. And when the person gets a judicial ruling and a rate of eviction is issued, and the court deploy the sheriff to enforce the eviction order. Citizens who are supposed to be supportive of the legal system get up against the court and say, you cannot enforce the order because the place here is for us. Is that how we want to run the country? Is that how you want to run the country? It is absolutely unacceptable. See people throwing stones and in some instances taking knives and cutlasses to chase after police officers. The same police officer you chase him, you brutalize him. The officer you expect to come to your aid when you are attacked. We inherited a government with public sectoral challenge. People trying to get logistics for the police. And when you go to enforce a court mandate, you destroy the police vehicles. The next day when I run to your house, you call the police and say, oh, the police not equipped. In some instances, it will become our own problem. What sort of mentality is that? Somebody goes to the court, get a ruling from the court, and you say they cannot enforce the ruling, and you gang up because you are violent. When the police retaliates, injuries occur, and then you say, oh, the government clamped down on protesters. These are unarmed civilian citizens. We must have respect for constituted authority. There's a president in the country. There's a government in charge of the affairs of the country. We cannot be the respect of the government. This government was never imposed on the Liberian people. The government is a product of the popular will of the Liberian people. And so the court is a facet of the government. The court cannot make decisions and then you gang up against the court decisions. And these were the same way yesterday they called on the government to say, oh, respect the court ruling. And the court ruled that the president cannot remove those 10 officials because due process was not followed. We held the court in one instant. But when the court ruled in another instant, you go against the court. You can't treat the judiciary like an outside child. Let us learn to respect constituted authority. Let us learn to respect the rule of law. Because that's the only way we can make progress. Our president is in the United States, making a case for Liberia at the U.S. Africa Business Summit. Group of citizens jump and go to Aslam Metal to destroy the facility. At what point do we realize that we are our own problem? It has to stop. The only way people will feel comfortable to do business in this country, to bring their investment here, is when everything they hear about Liberia becomes positive. Then Liberia becomes a destination where everybody wants to do business. On behalf of the government, we condemn that action in the strongest term possible. And we call on the Liberia National Police to be more vigilant in enforcing mandate from the court. The people in the police, they are Liberian citizens. When they go to do a piece of work, in keeping with their mandate, you take stone, you throw it at them, you brutalize them. Those are somebody in a hospital, their children, their brothers and sisters, all of us here can run our country like this. That being said, let me conclude by saying that yesterday, Sunday, the 19th of May, 2024, the government of Liberia, high-level delegation led by Councillor Jelly Amma, Deputy Minister for Legal Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, along with the Liberia Refugee Repatriation Resettlement Commission, Monrovia Park, officially held a formal program at the former Monrovia refugee camp in Oman District, Central Region, Republic of Ghana. The aim of the official program is to provide awareness in commencing the voluntary repatriation of the first group of 720 Liberian demolition exercise. For being the sweet land of liberty. And we cannot destroy that. That being said, let me now welcome the Minister of Commerce and Industry, the Honorable Amidst.
Thank you for the kind introduction and welcome. Thank you to the press for being here. Thank you to my colleagues from the Ministry of Commerce and other agencies who are here. This appearance is long overdue. We intended to have periodic engagements with the public and the press to bring you up to speed on some of the initiatives of the Ministry of Commerce, particularly in the 100 days that we've been in office, but also to let you know some of the plans that we've been having. Unfortunately, today, I'm here to highlight some of these achievements and some of these activities, but to also address one of the major issues that have been in the press for the last 2 days, which is the issue relevant to the price and availability of rice in the market. So I'll get into that shortly. But let me start by saying, when we talk about, I want to get into how dysfunctional the Ministry of Commerce was. A lot of agencies have been affected. A lot of new leaders and ministers and head of departments and agencies are confronted with the same issues. How these agencies were inherited and the policies and the systems that were in place to deliver on our objectives. I'll tell you about what we've been doing and where we're heading. So in the first couple of weeks up to a month, my principal deputies and the assistant ministers went at the office, so we were confronted to understand what we inherited at the Ministry of Commerce and get the machinery of the Commerce Ministry up and running. Over the last few months, couple of months, we've aggressively tackled the issue of audits, internal reviews, system reviews, to make sure that we're at a place where we have the capacity to deliver on our mandate. We've already started working with UNDP on our 5-year strategic plan that will encompass all our activities for the next 5 years, encapsulating under the name of our 1-year plan, and our 3-year plan. This will be updated as a country as we update our national development agenda, which I can assure you the government is working on. We have worked towards ensuring that all the parastatals, all the units of the Ministry of Commerce is working effectively. We visited the Monrovia Industrial Park, which is one of the units under the Ministry of Commerce, to ensure it is functional, to ensure that it is supporting industry. To our surprise, indeed, there are a lot of activities at the industrial park, but they were mainly dominated by foreign enterprises. So we have revised our strategic agenda to ensure that Liberian enterprises are getting more space at the industrial park. In that process, we've inspected all the facilities, all the factories, to make sure that they were living up to the standards that they are supposed to, and they are producing products that are safe and healthy for Liberians, for the general public. In that regard, we have identified a lot of lapses in working with those agencies, institutions to correct them. We're working with development partners, in this instance, UNIDO, to expand the industrial park to make sure that there is room for Liberian enterprises. We're working with LEC to ensure that we have affordable electricity at the industrial park. Regionally, we're working with the WTO, ECOWAS, and the EU on the African Continental Free Trade Agreement to ensure that we don't only subscribe to these policies and these agreements, but we have the capacity to benefit from the reciprocity of those agreements. Liberia is still almost a net importer, though we are part of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, but we see that we have no industries. We are not exporting, we don't have the capacity to export. While our neighboring countries, our brothers and sisters are benefiting, a lot of the commodities and products on the Liberian market, coming from regional sources, Ghana, Nigeria, and so forth. So we are aggressively ensuring that our our industrial policy is in vogue and is in line with our development agenda to empower Liberians in value addition. Key to import and export, particularly local export, we must have the capacity to develop products and commodities that meet international standards. So we are focused on developing the Liberian Standard Lab, which has turned into the Liberian Standard Authority. A lot of work has been done. It is a very efficient unit. It's been well supported by the government and development partners. We're expanding it to also conduct inspection of goods coming into the country, particularly food products. We're working and discussing with several entities to provide inspection of frozen foods, expanding the lab facility and capacity to do that, and also the capacity to inspect and certify commodities and products on the Liberian market. I can tell you recently we were able to discover a factory in Nizo that was producing electrowire in Liberia. A lot of the fire issue that you see happening had evolved from that factory producing substandard wires, substandard light bulbs, and branding them similar to international brands. Our inspector was able to identify that. We've shut down the company. We've taken those commodities to Ghana, and our standard now to test the quality. We've also expanded this, looking at that, to other factories in the country. We've been inspecting all the manufacturers of steel products, zinc, food products, and consumables. Those that we have issues with, we are taking them abroad to a regional higher level standards laboratories to determine the quality for local consumption, and we're making a couple of advances. At the crux of our agenda is developing Liberian enterprises, not only small and medium enterprises and businesses, but also in the industry. The President believes that the crux of our rescue agenda, our arrest agenda, is ensuring that Liberians are capacitated to be able to harness the evolution of the economy, starting with value addition, where our comparative advantage lies. And this also ties into food production, which I will get into shortly. In terms of small businesses, next week, in fact, Wednesday, we are launching a massive informal sector registration process where we are targeting minimum of 10,000 Liberian businesses operating in the informal sector. We are registering them free of charge, linking them up with banks. We have recruited the various universities, students from the various universities to implement the exercise. And we're passing them through our small and medium small business administration to ensure not only that they are registered, that they acquire PIN numbers, TIN numbers, but they're also linked up with banks and giving basic business training to be able to function and grow. And to address some of the hindrances such as funding capacity that we see our small and medium enterprises. Last week we launched a 90,000 hours program where the single community benefited, women in textile, and entrepreneurs with HIV benefited. We distributed small loans to them between $500 to $1,000 to help capacitate them. There were several beneficiaries, and we believe they also play a role in our economy and should be supported. We're also launching this week a program with the various banks through the instrumentality of the World Bank. We're implementing a $6 million micro-lending program. We've already vetted the various banking institutions and financial institutions to approve of the process. Beginning next week, you will see more information on it, where $6 million, starting with the first $3 million, will be distributed through the commercial banks targeting Liberian enterprises, again guided towards our priorities, which will be value addition. We've begun thorough engagement with our stakeholders. We've met almost all, major institutions. We've had meetings with the Liberia Business Association, Liberia Chamber of Commerce, the Foreign Business Associations, key sectoral associations like the rice importers. In fact, today we met all the supermarkets, the owners of supermarkets, to ensure and work with them on the constraints and to ensure that they work with us on reducing the cost of doing business and the cost of commodities on the market. We are very concerned with the high cost of living. There are room for improvement. There are room that we have to make some adjustments as government, but also there are some responsibilities from our partners, our business partners, to reduce the cost to our people, and we're working on that. We have major advancement as far as the institution asset recovery process are gone. We have been able to retrieve several assets that were out there, and now that we have the budget passed, first for the provisional budget to the full budget,